Hello chess fans, this is Rick from Chess to Impress with the last video of 2018, and the topic is the best game of 2018. There were many candidates for that title. I played through lots of games. There was a great game from the Ukrainian Grandmaster Golubov, played early in the year. And in the Olympiad in Batumi in Georgia, two great games were played, one by Dingley Ren from China and the other one by the Lithuanian Grandmaster Sulskis. But I picked another game as Game of the Year. It was played in the Korchnoi Memorial in St. Petersburg in Russia in August. White was the 20-year-old Grandmaster David Paravyan, who had a rating of 2630, and his opponent was the 18-year-old, also Russian, Saveliy Golubov with a rating of 2470. The date was the 20th of August, and White opened e4, e5 from Golubov, Knight f3 from Paravyan, Knight f6. We have a Russian defense, a Petrov defense, two Russians playing in St. Petersburg. Why not the Russian defense? Knight takes e5, d6, knight back to f3, black takes his pawn back, d4 occupying the center, d5, black does the same, bishop d3, and here there are three main moves: knight c6, bishop e7, and the move that Golubov played, bishop d6. Both players castled, c4, we're still in theory, c6, and now an unusual move. Knight c3 is the most popular move here, but Paravyan had prepared queen b3, a very rare move, played by Grandmaster Nigel Short a number of times. White is threatening to take a pawn. The d5 pawn is now attacked twice and only defended once, but not really. Black can just play knight a6 here, because if you then go pawn hunting with queen takes d5, then there is bishop takes h2 check, a very basic tactic. Check, and the queen is attacked. The queen is not protected on d5, and black wins. So the pawn on d5 is not really hanging, but black decided to take on c4 anyway. Paravyan took back with the bishop, knight d7 developing, rook e1 centralizing, hitting the knight on e4 which is unprotected, knight df6 protects the knight, knight bd2 developing, attacking the knight again. That knight was swapped, queen b6, and White has 160 rating points more than his opponent. He does not want to swap the queens. And there's the old saying, never take on b2, not even if it is a good move. But Golubov decides to take on b2 anyway, winning a pawn. Rook a b1, queen a3 only move, and still White does not want to swap queens, definitely not now he's a pawn down. Knight d5, rook b3 hitting the queen again, and a4 is the only square for the queen, and now the fireworks begin. First White takes on d5, we see in a minute why he first had to take on d5, c takes, and now knight g5. The first threat is very obvious, queen takes a7 is a checkmate threat, so g6 was played, and now look at this, knight takes h7, the first piece sacrifice. Not so difficult, you cannot really take the knight because of a discovered attack, check, and a discovered attack on the queen, bishop takes, queen takes a4, and White has won the queen for rook and bishop, and has a winning position. So after knight takes h7, black thought he had an in-between move, bishop f5, hitting the white queen. And now the only good move for White is knight f6 check, and that's why he had to take on d5 3 moves ago, to make sure that knight was not hanging on f6. King g7, and the next magical move, bishop h6 check. What a move. You cannot take the bishop because of rook h3 check again, winning the queen. But what about king takes f6, which was played by Golubov. Now, the next magical move, are you ready for it? Here it comes. g2, g4. What a move. Threatening g5, checkmate. That's the threat. And taking on c2, which not only takes the queen but also frees up the f5 square for the king, doesn't work because of rook f3 check. You can only interpose the bishop. Rook takes, check. You can only interpose the other bishop. And now g5 is checkmate. Wonderful. g4, what a move. So you cannot take the queen. But what about bishop f4? From black, the move played in the game. It's covering the g5 square with 2 pieces now. And it looks like white has overplayed his hand. But he hasn't. This is an incredible move that's coming up now. Queen c2 to c7. And as the magazine New in Chess writes, this unbelievable move, this stunning queen sacrifice, takes the brilliancy into another dimension. What a move. Of course, the queen is hanging on c7. But you cannot take the queen, because there is g5 checkmate again. Checkmate with a pawn. Wonderful. So, what to do? You cannot take the queen. The threat is queen e7 checkmate. If the queen comes there, in this position, it's checkmate. So let's look at rook fe8, covering the e7 square. Well, that leads to checkmate as well, after queen d6 check. And there are a number of variations. I just gave you the main variation that the engine gives. Rook e6, interposing, then g5 check again. Bishop takes only move. Rook takes e6. And then if you take with the f-pawn, there is queen e5 check. King f7. And now this rook joins the party in the attack on the king. Bishop interposes, queen g7 check, king e8, and checkmate on e7 after all. So all that after queen c7 and then rook fe8. In the game, black took on h6 to take the sting out of the g4, g5 move. Queen e5 check from white, it's a forced checkmate. King g5 is the only move. h4 check. King takes. Rook h3 check. Another sacrifice. You cannot take the rook because of queen g3 checkmate. And if after rook h3 check you go to g5, which happened in the game, then queen e7 check. And here black resigned. Golubov resigned. Paravyan had won the game of the year. If you play f6, then there is mate in 2, queen e3 check, king takes g4, and this is checkmate. What an unbelievable game. Look at the king on g4. It started on g8 and it's lured all the way to g4, where it finally gets checkmated. This is a larger picture of David Paravyan. What a wonderful game he played in the Korchnoi Memorial on the 20th of August 2018. For me, this is the best game of 2018. Hope you agree with me. And I also hope you liked this video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. Please subscribe to the Chess to Impress channel and please leave a comment. If you liked the video, it would be great if you could share it on social media by clicking the share button on YouTube. I want to thank you for all your support, your comments and your views of my video in 2018. I wish you a happy and healthy 2019 and I hope you will keep following my channel. This is Rick for Chess to Impress. Thank you for watching.